So I'm sure most of you guys will remember the brand new Silver Sky finish that John debuted during Dead & Company's sets during the 60th anniversary celebrations of the Grateful Dead. It's this kind of almost like a dirty mock sand color. It's brownish with maybe a hint of like olive to it as well in the satin finish. It's really, really cool and instantly became one of my favorite Silver Sky finishes ever. And John now has made a video going over the 424 gain stage pedal that JHS Pedals has recently released and did a demonstration of it to help Josh Scott out, who is recovering from this horrible biking accident. And first off, wishing Josh all of the absolute best in his recovery, and I think I speak for all of us when I say we're looking forward to seeing him back on YouTube and we can see his smiling face again and just, know that he's all better and stuff. We're all very much looking forward to that day. So wishing Josh, wishing you all of the best with your recovery. And this was awesome for John to take the time. Obviously, him and Josh are close, and to make a video kind of demonstrating it to help him out while Josh is out of commission. It was really, really cool to see John do something like this. And the full video will be linked in the description down below. But the reason why I'm making this video today is to talk about this Silver Sky, because we've seen this finish now in, number one, really great lighting in the studio where John is. It almost looks like he's kind of at maybe like Sirius. It kind of looks like the Sirius XM studio to me, but either way, John's got this new Silver Sky finish, but the interesting thing about it is that now it has some modifications, or this is just a new guitar with the same finish, and it's kind of like the DeadSpec 2.0 in a sense, because it has that string tree retainer on it and as well the brass nut. So it has some modifications that are putting it pretty close now to the DeadSpec Silver Sky. The only thing that it doesn't have is the Amblec, however you pronounce it, that actual preamp circuit at the input jack. It doesn't have that, but everything else appears to be with the string tree and the brass nut, that it's kind of a new version of the DeadSpec.
Josh wanted me to play some grunge, so let's turn up the gain all the way on the second and the first. So that is trim all the way up, channel all the way up. This is Good Love is on the way if Stone Gossard from Pearl Jam played it. So let's see what happens if we move gain 2 up and gain 1 is at 12. That's rubbery. That's like every note you play, it just sort of falls off the cliff. But it's interesting. It makes you want to...
And to me, this kind of just seems like an odd time for us to see this new guitar, because John just finished the residency at Sphere with Dead & Company in 2025 now, and then those 60th anniversary celebration shows too, where he didn't have this guitar in this form factor and was using the DeadSpec Silver Sky as his main guitar for all of those shows. So if he wanted something that had that vibe, the DeadSpec vibe, he just would use his DeadSpec guitar. But to see him now have a different finish that he obviously had to request, I don't think it's just for the fun of it. I feel like there is a true intended purpose with this, and maybe this is going to be a wider release model. Who knows, right? I think a lot of us would be really excited to have a more affordable, non-limited edition release of like the DeadSpec 2 or something like that, like they did the Super Eagle 1, the Super Eagle 2, but this is just for someone who wants kind of something that's a bit more Jerry Garcia Alligator, Dead & Company inspired, that has the string tree, has the new nut on it, maybe not the preamp circuit like this one has. Then that would kind of keep the price a little bit more down perhaps and make it that so that they can actually produce a lot more of them. Who knows, right? That's where my mind goes with this, but I just wanted to go on the channel here and talk about it, because if John wanted something to do the DeadSpec thing, he just would use a DeadSpec. So I feel like there is an intended purpose, or maybe they're updating certain specs like the pickups, the neck, who knows? It truly could just be that John wanted kind of a DeadSpec and a new finish for him, even just for him, that we'll never see the light of day in terms of a production model. Who knows? But I definitely think there is more to this than that, at least, kind of with the history and everything like that. With the Silver Sky, we see finishes, and then John, releases them eventually. We saw the DeadSpec, even the prototype that John was using. Then we got a limited edition release of it. This could be something new that we might see next year or something like that, because all of the Dead & Company shows for the year are done. So for him now to be having this guitar out, it's an odd timing for him to kind of be like, oh, like, look at what I've got, right? Like, John knows what he's doing. It's pretty cool to see this new spec version of the guitar, and that's why it's not just the new finish, it's the fact that it's getting these modifications that I find really interesting and really, really cool. And even on the table there, John's got the artificial blonde, which he's been using a ton on his main touring pedal board with Dead and Company. That's one of, obviously I've made videos talking about his pedal board, but showing some love for JHS Pedals, that's been one that John's been using. Of course, you also have the Supreme Fuzz, which is based off the Shinai Companion Psychedelic Amplifier Machine Super Fuzz. That does the, I guess I just feel like, tone perfectly. It's the perfect pedal to pick up at a really great price point for that Legends of Fuzz series to do that sound as well. The Pulp and Peel John was using during the 2019 World Tour. You have the Kirkland Boost, which has been something he's been using a ton of as well. And then the Box It Later, which is almost kind of like the most signature John Mayer pedal that has ever been made. Lots of great JHS pedals that John has been using over the past handful of years, especially. Been using a ton of them and stuff, so just wanted to also show a little bit of love and, shout outs to some really amazing pedals that John's had on his board that Josh has made. But like I've said, who knows what this guitar will turn into, but I definitely think there is more to it than just, oh, let's get this new finish and add the string tree and the nut as well adjustments from the DeadSpec. I feel like there's something more to it because he just would have a handful of DeadSpecs that he could use if he ever wanted something that did that thing. And he's clearly been loving the DeadSpec with how much he's been playing it with Dead & Company. It's a fantastic guitar, and they really nailed what John was wanting to do with that guitar. So the fact that this has had those modifications and changes, I feel like something's going on. It could be the DeadSpec 2, like with the Super Eagle, another limited edition release because of the success of that limited edition release of the DeadSpec. It sold out. Everyone is loving it. That could be a guitar that, they're like, all right, let's make another one then. Let's make maybe a slight update to the pickups or specifications of the neck, release that. Or it could be one where, okay, maybe if we don't put that preamp in it, we can then make it just a production model for a couple of years. Who knows, right? But I think it's really cool, and it's definitely something I needed to talk about on the YouTube channel. This video is linked in the description down below. Go check out the 424 gain stage from JHS Pedals. Sounds absolutely fantastic, and John's demo was really awesome too, and I think it's a great pedal that a lot of us would really love to have. And, John's a pretty good gear demoer, actually. It's not something he does often, but he did a really good job in demonstrating what this pedal can do and making it, obviously it's John, right? Sound really fantastic. So, Josh, get well soon. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this new guitar in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Anyway, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you like what you see.